It was past 11 p.m. I had been driving for hours through heavy rain, coming back from a late work meeting 2 towns over. The highway was nearly empty, just a blur of water, trees, and the dull glow of my headlights. I needed a break, stretch my legs, maybe grab a drink. So when I saw a flickering roadside sign that read, "Open 24 hours," I pulled in. It was an old, run-down convenience store. Looked like it hadn't been cleaned in years. One flickering ceiling light. The guy behind the counter didn't even look up when I walked in. I wandered the aisles, picked up a bottle of water and a sandwich, then asked if they had a restroom. The guy just pointed without speaking. The bathroom was outside. Around back. That should have been my first warning. I jogged through the rain, found the rusted metal door, and stepped into a small, grimy space with a single cracked mirror and broken soap dispenser. But then, as I washed my hands, I saw him. A man. Standing outside the window. Perfectly still. Drenched head to toe. Staring directly at me. At first, I thought maybe it was a reflection. But no, he was there. Real. Inches away. Not moving. Not blinking. I turned around. Nothing. He was gone. I stood frozen for a moment, then opened the door and looked around. The rain poured, but there was no one. Just the storm. Weirded out, I went back into the store. As I paid, I told the cashier, "Hey, there was a guy standing outside the bathroom window. Looked like he was watching me." The cashier finally looked up. And in a dead serious voice, he said, "What window?" I blinked. "The bathroom one." He shook his head. "We sealed that window with bricks after a break-in. Over a year ago." My stomach dropped. I walked out to my car in the rain, heart pounding, and ran straight to the bathroom again. Shined my phone flashlight on the back wall. He wasn't lying. The window was bricked shut. No glass. No opening. Just cold, wet concrete. I got in my car and peeled off into the highway, adrenaline spiking, hands trembling. I didn't sleep that night. 3 days later, I was scrolling through local news articles while waiting at a mechanic shop. And then I saw it. Unidentified man seen watching travelers, linked to 2 disappearances. A grainy image from a security cam, of a man. Soaked, pale, expressionless. The same face I saw. And the report said something that made my blood run cold. He never approaches. Just watches. Always from a window. Next time you're alone on a rainy night, look out the window. But if he's already watching, don't move. Don't blink. I drive for a food delivery app. It's usually quiet at night, and I like it that way. No traffic, no conversations. Just me, the road, and the radio. That night, the rain wouldn't stop. Heavy sheets coming down. The kind that makes you squint even with wipers on full speed. At around 10:45 p.m., I got a new order. Chinese food. A prepaid delivery to a remote residential area on the outskirts of town. No contact, just leave at door. Easy. But when I reached the address, the house looked off. It was old. Windows boarded from the inside. The porch light flickered. But the GPS showed the pin exactly there, 417 Pine Hollow Road. I double-checked. The food matched. The number was correct. So I walked up, bag in hand, and placed it on the welcome mat. Then snapped a photo for proof. That's when I heard it. "Can you bring it in?" A voice. From inside the house. Soft. Childlike. Right behind the door. I hesitated. "It's really raining," the voice said again. "I'm just a kid. Please?" I didn't know what to do. It didn't feel right. But something about the way they said it. I opened the screen door, stepped in, and left the bag inside the threshold. "Thanks," the voice whispered. I looked around. The living room was dim. Dust on everything. Furniture covered in white sheets. Like no one had lived there for years. That's when I noticed something on the wall. Dozens of old delivery receipts. All taped up. Every one of them was dated. And they all ended on the same date. July 1st. Exactly 5 years ago. The room grew colder. Then, I heard a camera click behind me. I turned around. No one. Just the door, wide open again. I ran out and jumped in my car. As I sped off, I checked the app to report something weird. But when I opened the delivery history, there was no record of the order. No Chinese food. Number 417 Pine Hollow. Nothing. I tried to find the house again the next day. Typed in the address. But the GPS kept rerouting me. Finally, I searched online. 417 Pine Hollow Road burned down 5 years ago. On July 1st. A child died inside. Alone. Her name was Ellie. She had been waiting for her parents to come home, and food that never arrived. If you ever deliver to 417 Pine Hollow on a rainy night, don't go in. Some doors should never be opened. I work nights. 12-hour shifts at a warehouse outside the city. By the time I clock out, it's usually just me and the road. That night, the rain started around midnight. By 3 a.m., it was pouring so hard I had to drive with my hazards on just to see 10 feet ahead. The highway was completely empty. No cars. No lights. Just darkness and the sound of rain hammering my windshield. Then, through the blur of water and wipers, I saw something that made my foot slam the brakes. A figure was standing in the middle of the road. I almost skidded off trying to stop in time. It was a woman. Barefoot. Soaking wet. Long black hair stuck to her face. She didn't move. I rolled down my window just slightly and called out. "Hey! Are you okay?" She didn't answer. Just stood there, head tilted slightly, staring. I didn't know what to do. My gut told me not to get out of the car. So I turned on my high beams. And in that split second, she was gone. Just like that. No sound. No movement. Just gone. I looked all around, heart pounding. Nothing. So I did what any sane person would. I hit the gas and got the hell out of there. About 10 minutes later, I started calming down. Until I looked in the rearview mirror. And saw something, sitting in the back seat. A pale face. Dripping wet. Eyes black like oil. Watching me. I swerved, nearly drove into a ditch, and jumped out of the car in the rain, screaming. But when I opened the back seat, nothing. Soaking wet footprints on the seat. But nothing else. I drove straight home, windows down, music blaring, anything to stay sane. The next morning, I went out to check my car. Everything looked fine. Except for one thing. On the inside of my rear windshield, written in the foggy glass, were 4 words. "Thanks for the ride. I haven't driven at night since." If you see someone on the road during a storm, don't stop. Skull, because once they get in, they never really leave. The rain was relentless. I had been driving from Pune to Nashik, alone, late, and exhausted. Around 1:30 a.m., the highway looked more like a flooded river. Visibility was near zero, and every sign passed in a blur. That's when I saw it. A dim, flickering neon sign that simply read, "Hilltop in vacancy." The place looked half abandoned. But I was soaked, starving, and desperate for rest. I pulled in. The front desk was manned by an older man. Didn't say much. Just handed me a rusted key labeled, Room 103. 3 knocks. Slow. Deliberate. I froze. Didn't move. Didn't speak. Then, the knob started turning. But the chain lock held. I whispered, "Who is it?" Silence. Then a voice. Low. Raspy. Like someone who hadn't used their voice in years. "You're in the wrong room." I sat there, frozen, watching the shadow of feet under the door. They stood there for almost 5 minutes, then walked away. I didn't sleep again. Just waited for dawn. When the sun came up, I grabbed my bag, bolted out of the room, and went to the front desk. But the man from last night was gone. In his place was a young woman. I handed her the key. Room 103, I muttered. She frowned. I'm sorry, which room? Room 103. I checked in last night. She looked confused. Then she said something that made my skin crawl. Sir, we don't have a room 103. I laughed, thinking she was joking. But then she showed me the room layout. There was number 103. Between room 102 and 104 was a blank wall. No door. No space. Nothing. I demanded to see it. Between room 102 and 104 was a blank wall. No door. No space. Nothing. I demanded to see it. She took me down the hallway. And just like she said, room 103 didn't exist. I turned to her and said, but I was there. All night. I slept there. She looked at me. Dead serious. Sir, you came in soaked last night. But you never checked in. You just sat in the lobby chair, the whole time. If a door opens for you in a storm, ask yourself why it opened. Some places don't exist on maps. Subscribe to Echo and Ash Stories, where every shadow hides a story.